Do you want to start a business, but you're afraid that because you're a little introverted, it would be hard for you to actually go out there and get clients and make deals and get other people to join your company? Yeah? Well, you've come to the right place. But first, play that intro. What is going on? Welcome back to the channel. But if this is your first time here, my name is Mike Mack from the janitorialentrepreneur.com, and I help people start, grow, and automate wildly profitable office cleaning businesses. And on this video, I'm gonna show you how you can be totally introverted and go out there and kick ass with a cleaning business. And not just that, how being introverted is honestly an advantage. That's right, an advantage. How often do introverts hear that? You're not gonna wanna miss this video. Also, stick around to the very end because I put together a weekly bonus and you're gonna wanna stick around and see what all that's all about, all right? But before we begin this week's video, if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell because I put out new videos just like this 2 times every single week and you're not going to want to miss them. Now that all of that's out of the way, let's get into this week's video. Okay, so the reason why I'm making this video is because starting out, I had really wished that there was some type of video just like this for me because prior to my YouTube days and doing so much camera work for our coaching clients and the YouTube channel and our Facebook group. By the way, join the Facebook group. But seriously, in the very beginning, I was very shy to be on camera, and I was even more shy of the prospect of like going out and meeting people for business purposes, because I had these things that sales and marketing, it was just, everything was too salesy and spammy, and I was really starting to feel like maybe I would never be cut out for business, because if you can't do those things, it's really difficult to get started and grow a company. So in the beginning, I started to read a lot of books, sales books and marketing books, and see what was out there and try to see how I can improve. And at that time, I said, I guess I just have to change who I am, and I guess I just have to be more, I have to be a little more pushy. Maybe I'm too passive, and I really want to be successful in business, but I don't see myself being that type of person that's gonna cold call. And so I went out and I tried those things. And I invested $5,000 at the time, $5,000 that I did not have, into a sales training program because I thought if I could figure this out, everything else is gonna fall into place. And I started that program thinking, okay, it's gonna be some hard work, but all of our troubles are over. And I kept fitting a square peg into a round hole because that's just not who I was. I wasn't somebody who was just gonna be relentlessly pushing for a sale, following up, calling. As much as I tried, I kept realizing that maybe business isn't for me because this isn't working, and I'm trying, and it's like I'm cold calling, I'm doing everything I'm supposed to do, I'm cold emailing, and the types of messages I would get back, it would just, oh God, it was like angry. They were like angry messages, and I'm just like, is this how everyone does their thing? This is how everyone grows? Well, I hit a big time epiphany starting this office cleaning business because we were working with so little money to start, $300 for those you don't know, that beginning to, I just knew we weren't gonna cold call, and it became a blessing. At the time, it was such a big curse. It was like, oh God, only $300, what can I do with this? But it became a blessing because it was like, we had said we're not gonna cold call, but everything else is in play. And then we were surprised to realize that people were really receptive to our style of sales and marketing. People were really drawn to us, and more doors started opening up, and then more accounts started flooding in. And then we realized that, hey, you don't have to do it the traditional way. There's another way. And so in this video, I'm gonna give you 3 ways that being an introvert is absolutely an advantage. So, let's get into it. And the first key is a mindset shift. So Like I said, starting out, I had this mindset belief of you have to be salesy, you have to be good at sales, you have to be pushy, you have to be aggressive. Because if you're not, you're gonna fall behind. Why? Everyone else out there is being pushy and aggressive. In my mind, because the sales books I would read, the seminars I would go to, it was all about that. So for this cleaning business, we made that agreement with myself and my partner Jess, where we're like, you know what, we're gonna try, like, we're gonna do everything we can, but without cold calling and like going door to door and anything that's gonna be make people feel like we're being ultra aggressive. And then when it started to work, we had this realization that it was like, hey, you know, this really isn't about closing sales. This is about opening relationships. Now for this type of business, I mean, you're not one and done. It really is a relationship because you're gonna be together for years and years and years to come, because they don't wanna make that change again, meaning the accounts. An attorney doesn't wanna have to be calling cleaners like, hey, can you come give a proposal? Can you come give a proposal? Can you come give a proposal? They don't wanna do that. So since you're going to have a long-term relationship, providing you take care of your clients, you're going to want to make sure that these are people you actually mesh well with. And when you have the mindset of I want to build new relationships, you know, I want to bring on clients and build great relationships, you're not going to bring on somebody that is not for you. So if you're an introvert and you feel like there's a certain personality that doesn't mesh well with your personality, meaning like maybe like a type A personality where someone's just like calling, hey, this wasn't done, you need to get a lot better, because blah, 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 blah. That's not gonna mesh well with you. And if anything, that type of personality would probably mesh well with somebody who's aggressively selling and pushing, because that's a style that they're comfortable with. And that's fine, you don't want those clients. You want the type of clients that are gonna see your message and they're gonna see you and they're gonna be like, yeah, I like you a lot. Come in, give a price, let's have a conversation. So shifting your mindset is absolutely the first key to kick ass with a cleaning business. Okay, the second key is, now that you have the mindset of opening relationships versus closing sale, the second key is to look at it as attracting clients. So you want to attract clients and then open relationships. Now, what's the advantage for an introvert? Introverts are typically really good at observing. So that was one of the things right out of the gate for Jess and myself, where we were really good at like observing people and the type of clients. Once we knew what kind of clients we wanted, we started to dig in and do some market research. And we started to understand the people we were targeting. And we developed such a good understanding in such a short period of time that when we put our marketing together and our messaging and our sales process, or version 1 of our sales process, it was working really well because nobody else was trying to understand the people they were trying to attract. Or if they were trying, they weren't doing a really good job. That's why I think it's a big advantage for somebody who is introverted, because you know, you can internalize and really try to understand that potential client. Like, what are they looking for? What's a message that's gonna hit them and say, yeah, you, come in here, give me a price, let's do this. You know, this is a really big advantage. Taking the time to understand them is going to put you, you know, in front of the line with other cleaning businesses. And you're gonna be in a position where you don't have to underbid. That was the position we were in because they were like, you are speaking our language. You are an expert, okay? That's the mindset. Their mindset was like, everyone else is cold calling me, talking about how great they are, and you're the one you understand my problems. As a practice manager, you know what I have to deal with. Those 3 things you said in your postcard absolutely meant the world to me, because I was like, oh wow, somebody finally gets it. Advantage, advantage, advantage. Okay, and the third absolute advantage for introverts is creative marketing. Now, the first part of this is switching your mindset. So now that you've switched your mindset from traditional sales and pushy and aggressiveness, cold calling, all that, you've now shifted your mindset to opening relationships, okay? And now, since you have that mindset of I'm just trying to attract great people to build my company around, doing the market research, knowing what to look for, knowing how to craft a message that is perfect for your ideal client. Perfect in the sense that when they read it, they're like, They get me. This is awesome. Now that you've done those two things, you have to put your message in some creative marketing, right? Now, this is what we teach our students in our coaching program, and it's how to become the unicorn. Because when you can do this, you now start to become a unicorn. A unicorn doesn't have to compete on price because the unicorn is a specialist, while every other company are generalist, at least in your ideal client's mind, because that's all that matters. What matters is what they think, the customer, the client, what they think, how they view your company versus other companies, that's all that matters. And it's all about getting them to see you as the upper echelon of cleaning companies, right? Introverts by trade are typically more creative. And in the marketing game, the more creative you are, especially with a great message that resonates, you put those two things together and it's an absolute explosion. It's an absolute awesome advantage being an introvert. Like, it's such an easier fit to be a unicorn than somebody who's extroverted. So if you're an introvert and you're sitting on the sidelines, not starting your business, maybe you're stuck at your 9 to 5 and you're just trying to break free, but you're like, business isn't for me because I don't know how to do any of that. I'm telling you, if you play to your strengths, you will absolutely crush it. Okay, so the conclusion is, there are absolute advantages for everybody. Everybody's working with some advantages, and there are absolute advantages if you're an extrovert. If you're an extrovert, you know, Jess is more extroverted than I am. You know, she is much more like, to everybody. And that works too. They both work. And extroverts can absolutely be the unicorn as well. And introverts, obviously, could be the unicorn. The key is just making yourself the unicorn. So now there are natural advantages for both. But no one really talks about the introverts. That's what I wanted to make this video all about. So if you got value from this video, leave a comment, let me know. Like the video, and maybe share it with another fellow introvert. All right, you made it, it's bonus time. So this week's bonus is to let you know that there are 3 spots remaining for March for our coaching program. And the way you can see if we're a good fit for that coaching program is clicking the link below. There is a short survey just as some preliminary questions, because we're really strict on who we take on, but it only takes about 2 minutes, and then from there you book a call with my team and we really go over to see if you really want to make this happen, and if we are a good fit to actually help you do that, then we let you know what that looks like. But the call is valuable because on that call you actually find out more about yourself and any roadblocks that may be in the way. You know, we catch those, and then, you know, if nothing else, you get to leave that call saying, wow, you know what? I now know that I've had a major roadblock in my way from me, you know, getting started in business and succeeding in business. We all have our own roadblocks. So on that call, you know, it really is, if nothing else, it helps you flush those out. All right, so I'm gonna wrap this video right here. Introverts, you know your strengths. Put those to work. By the way, if you're an introvert or an extrovert, comment below. Let me know what you are. Let me know if you're an extrovert and you wanna know what your strengths are, because there are absolutely great strengths for extroverts as well. I'll make a video for that. Any other suggestions on what kind of video specifically you're looking for? Drop those below as well. I love talking to you, but I'm out of here. I'll see you on the next video. Peace out.